beautiful people. Today I have a review on the new Fenty foundation. This one is called the Soft Lit. It's supposed to be a naturally luminous, long wearing foundation. I am in the shade 240, and that is the same shade that I have in the hydrating and matte formula. And I will have my other Fenty shades down below, as well as other brands if you're looking for a color match similar to mine. They describe this as warm golden. I do feel in the matte line, the warm golden is a little bit more on the yellow side, while the hydrating, which is discontinued, and the soft lit kind of leans a little bit more peachy neutral, but I can make all of these work for my skin tone. That being said, the shape of the bottle changed. What she had before was like it was rounded on two ends and then flat on the sides. Now they changed it into a hexagon, so it has 6 different sides to it, which I really like because it doesn't roll or anything, it just stays in place. It is a pump. Please excuse mine, it's already dirty from me testing it out for so many days. I bought it on, I think it arrived on Tuesday, and I tried it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I have it on today. So 7 days of wear for you guys. I love doing like really thorough foundation and concealer reviews. I really kind of want to get back into doing them. Let me know if you guys are interested in that down below, even if there's stuff that's already in the market, not necessarily new stuff. But this one is very, very beautiful. I will go ahead and show you guys a demo so you guys can see the application on half of my face. And I will go ahead and tell you guys what Sephora kind of says about it. So it's $40 for a little bit over 1 ounce. It's hydrating, long wearing, liquid, waterproof. It's a black owned brand by our queen Rihanna. It's a medium coverage, and it's supposed to give you like a glow to the skin. It says that it's supposed to give you that golden hour glow in a bottle, kind of like when people take photos in the sunset. And it's supposed to improve the look of your skin over time and is resistant to sweat, humidity, and transferring. I will say that this foundation kind of threw me for a loop. I have to tell you guys that I have mature, more drier skin, and I do have certain areas that are dry. So my skin's almost like combination normal to dry. I have dry areas around my chin and kind of like around here. So the bottom of my face can look very textured with certain products. And this, if you apply a thick layer or try to build it up, it will accentuate texture, especially if you have dry skin. And another thing that I noticed is that if I do my prep like I normally prep my skin for, because my skin is dry and I add hydration to it, it makes this slip off my skin. So I have to be very careful what moisturizer and primer I use when using this foundation, and that's something very important. I will say that it worked the best with the Fenty one. Let me go ahead and pull it out so I can read the name. It worked the best with the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer from Fenty. This primer is not too dewy, it's not too mattifying, it's kind of one of those like smoothing primers. And so I highly recommend using a primer similar to this with this foundation. I feel like these two in combination just make your skin look flawless. That being said, if I used a very hydrating primer, this kind of just did not wear very long. Between 4 to 6 hours, it wore off. It even wore off kind of patchy on my forehead. I'll try to put pictures here so you guys can see what my forehead kind of looked like. It accentuated texture if I wore too, like if I try to build it up and set it with too much powder, it could really accentuate a lot of texture. But I do feel like you have to set this foundation to make it last. By itself, I didn't feel like it was very long wearing unless I set it into place. That being said, I did feel that I had to use more of a very soft powder compared to a heavier powder. For example, there was one day I used the Ofra banana powder to set it, and this is more coverage powder. So if you use like a powder foundation, it's going to accentuate texture and it's going to look cakey and kind of just not look right in certain areas. I also use my Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, and it also did the same thing. anything. The only one that my bad. The only one that I could get to really look very nice with is this one, the Veil from Hourglass. This combination right here of the primer with the foundation and this on top worked beautifully. I got compliments. Someone at work was like, "Oh my God, girl, what's on your face?" And I was like, "Oh, it's the new Fenty foundation." They were like, "Oh, it looks super beautiful. Like, it looks absolutely stunning on your skin. Your skin looks flawless." But of course, they didn't see me every day. And I do feel that the first few days, it kind of took me a bit of work to find the good variation of products to bring together to make the foundation really work for me. So it is something that you might have to play around with because of the formula, depending on your skin type. I don't think that this is a foundation for those with oily skin or textured skin because of how it's going to look. With oily skin, I don't think it will be as long wearing, and with textured skin, I do feel like the formula kind of accentuates that. Less is more with this foundation. I think that if you apply a very thin layer, you can get a light to medium coverage, and it's going to look more beautiful than trying to build it up where it can get a little bit like cakey and accentuate that texture. As far as the longevity goes, I'll show you guys it first thing in the morning yesterday. Then when I was outside, it looked absolutely stunning. And then at the end of the night, and that's after like 15 hours, it looked absolutely amazing, beautiful. So I think if you get the right combination of products for this, it will look beautiful and be very long wearing. There was times where the AC kind of wasn't working as well and I was sweating and it didn't budge from there and looked very, very flawless and beautiful. I got really nice compliments. But the other days when I was still trying to figure it out, I felt like it wasn't wearing long wearing. It was like blotchy in certain areas. If I tried to build it up for more coverage, like more of a medium coverage and not like that light medium kind of like thin layer, it really like caked up. Here in this whole dry area of my chin, it just accentuated the texture, which I did not care for. Also, it did wear off around my nose, which is something super normal for me. It's something that I constantly am doing, is like if I'm sniffly or touching my nose a lot or itchy, like it just kind of wears off. So they do say that this is transfer proof, but I do feel like I saw it transfer quite a bit. Even on my lab coat, I saw that some of the foundation was on there. So I don't feel like it's 100% transfer proof where you can just like hug somebody and it's not gonna come off. I do really like the formula now that I found a good combination of products to make it work for me, but I'm not going to claim that this is like, oh my God, the most amazing new foundation, because it did kind of take me quite a few days to kind of find the right combination of products to make it work for me. And so you might go through those same kind of issues as well. So my top tips would be to use a primer that is more kind of like a mid-tone, like smoothing primer. Don't use anything like, today I used the Milk Grip and it peeled in certain areas and I had to go in there and really like help it out with my sponge. So you don't want anything like sticky like the Milk. You don't want anything too hydrating. Something similar to this would be really good. Apply a thin layer and then set with a very nice like loose powder. And the way I set it is that let me see, where's my setting brush? I take the brush and literally just kind of like, you know, not, you know, swirl or anything like that, because that can add more texture, especially with me with more mature dry skin. It can add more texture to my skin. So I literally just pat in the mineral veil and it looks very, very beautiful. I do like the glow that it gives. Even with setting it lightly, it does kind of give like that natural glow, very beautiful. And overall, it is a very beautiful foundation. And now that I've gotten it to work for me, I will keep it and have it as a staple in my collection, and hopefully be able to also mix it in with other foundations that are a little bit heavier, especially now for these summer months. And because I apply like that thin layer, it just feels like I have nothing. It doesn't feel like heavy or cakey. I do feel like the days that I try to build it up to medium, it did kind of look cakey in certain areas where I have more texture. So thin is the way to go with this, or apply it and then buff it out with a beauty blender or something like that. I hope that this was helpful if you are looking into this product, and maybe these tips on how I got it to work for me will help you. Let me know your thoughts down below as far as the foundation, what your thoughts are. It's actually what I have on today. And like I said, I use the Milk Grip, so I did have to go in there like around my nose, my chin area, and really buff it out with a damp beauty blender. But overall, I do really love the color match. I think and it does look like radiant, like skin, so I do really highly enjoy it. Like I said before, let me know your thoughts down below. If you've bought this foundation, what your thoughts are, what kind of skin type you have that could help someone else as well. If you're new to my channel and like beauty, fashion, maybe sometimes some chit chat videos, etc., I'd love to have you subscribe, like this video if it was helpful, and I have social media down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.